YouTube with Gamerz Realm. I am your moderator for tonight, Retro Styles. And today we have a special guest on our Gamerz Realm podcast today. It's Mr. Vacca. You want to say hi, Mr. Vacca?
Hello world.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So we're stoked about that tonight. Anyway, we are going to ask you a few questions for tonight. These are our standard questions that we ask. First, we'll start off with your gaming history, like what got you into video games. And then the second question will be what your favorite video game of all time is.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for having me, especially Mr. Switch. I know you've been pulling in some strings trying to make this happen. But let's see. My video game history goes way back in the time. I was born in 1985. 35 years ago when Mario was born. And I was 3 years old, and the kid across the street from me got this brand new machine. Well, it wasn't really new, but new for him. He was 3. And it was called this Nintendo Entertainment System. And this game Duck Hunt and Mario came together in this cartridge. And well, I had to get my hands on that as well. My father immediately got it, and I was hooked instantly. I think I beat Mario by the time I was 5 on my own and was hooked. The next big step in my career of Nintendo and Mario would be when I would say the Super Nintendo was huge, but the really big, massive moment that kind of answers number 2, but not really, it's not the biggest or best moment, would be when the N64 launched. I remember waiting in line at Toys R Us because you could play it before it actually released. And I remember seeing Super Mario 64 for the very first time, and my mind was blown when I got to see the graphics. It was insane. I made my mom drive me back to that Toys R Us like a dozen times. We waited in line, played the same like intro level so many times, but it's still the best game forever. And then I kind of took a break from Nintendo. I shifted over to the Xbox 360, PS3. College really got into, first-person shooters, all that stuff. Still played some Nintendo on here and there. Really became good at Guitar Hero. Went to lots of bars and won competitions. I challenge any of y'all to Guitar Hero. I will destroy y'all. I got back in Nintendo on Wii U because I was a first grade teacher for 7 years. And when the Switch came out, I was maybe halfway through my career as a first grade teacher. And when you have a student, I was given all the students that did poorly in kindergarten, didn't want to be there, behaviorally challenged, didn't want to learn. And I would use Nintendo as the carrot at the end of the stick to get them motivated to want to learn and read. So instead of doing a boring spelling list of, words that ended in TH or a silent E, I would use, Zelda as the words, and I would use like Link and different words that were in Nintendo games that the kid liked. Maybe it was Kirby or maybe it was Mario. And then all of a sudden the kid wanted to learn, and it would be interesting. Instead of having them write a story about something in a book, I'd make them write a story about if they were in a video game. And it got all those kids. So then we created a Nintendo Club, and then Nintendo Club kind of blew up because we became somehow known on YouTube, very small, but we caught the eyes of Nintendo. And the best moment of my gaming career was actually the day that I met Mr. Switch. Do you remember that day, Mr. Switch?
Really?
I think so. Do you remember?
Aww.
What day was that?
Hold on. The day. Hold on.
Was it the launch of a video game?
The Mario Odyssey launch.
Mario Odyssey launch. That was the first time Nintendo invited not just myself, but we were invited with Nintendo Power couple, Danny and Philia, and I got to bring my entire Nintendo club, about 20 students and their families, to that private event in Nintendo New York in Rockefeller Plaza. We got to basically do the private event, which is what the line of people, C&D and all those people, they got to do that public event. We were the private event, the test run, where they were filming all of the dancers and for the music video and commercials and stuff. And then we got to meet Reggie. I shook Reggie's hand, got tons of footage of us meeting him. He met all of our kids. I got to meet Kit and Krista, and then I got to meet and shake hands and get my Cappy signed with the director, producer of Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh man, that was incredible. I remember seeing everybody there. Just kind of, I was on the side waiting, even waiting at the end of the night, waiting for the president, Reggie, to come by, and I got him. I caught him at the end. Go ahead.
So it gets kind of crazier from there. That was the highlight, but there were still so many more highlights, like Nintendo Labo. When Nintendo Labo came out, that's when I actually became a Nintendo Labo ambassador. Not anymore, but we'll get to that. I became an ambassador. I was it for about 2-3 years, and it was really focused on Nintendo Labo and how we integrated Nintendo Labo into our classroom, into our curriculum. By the time Labo came out, I was no longer a first grade teacher. I became an assistant principal and the instructional technology leader for the entire district. So we have about 2,000 students, and I was able to take Nintendo Labo and incorporate it into a special ed kindergarten room, all the way to an enriched 5th grade classroom, and incorporate it into all the curriculum, whether it was science, math, social studies, or English. And it became such a hit that we had districts from around the area taking field trips just to come watch our teachers teach and use Nintendo Labo. We went to countless trainings, like seminars, where we would just showcase Labo and all that it could do in the classroom. And then we got to meet the director of Nintendo Labo. They flew him out and his team from Japan. They didn't speak a lick of English. They flew out translators, and we got to have a like 2-hour session with our students again and Labo, and we got to just like toss ideas back and forth. They filmed it, but the craziest thing is they have not used any of the footage. They still have it. They're sitting on it. And then the pandemic hit. And actually, before that happened, this past year, I'm no longer an assistant principal. I'm the principal, but it's of the high school Center for Advanced Technology at my school district. So I'm now in charge of the older kids, and I am more focused on esports with the older kids. They're much more competitive. I'm not utilizing Nintendo like I used to. Still using it a lot, but when the pandemic hit, I focused heavily on Google Apps for Education and how to enrich my students, my teachers, and just was my job to make sure that I did that. So for the past 3 months, I only made one Nintendo video out of about 45. And that one was the Paper Mario. And so I think there's a lot of reasons, but the same time that Wood, I'm sure you saw the video, he was dropped by Nintendo as an ambassador. Yeah. I was also dropped by Nintendo the same exact time. I got the same exact email, and yeah, it was disheartening, but not really, because as Wood said, the same time they sent over a new NDA. They sent over a new non-disclosure agreement that we had to sign so that we could continue to still get games. So even though we're technically not Nintendo brand ambassadors, nothing's changed. I still, have the connections that we had before. I just lost the title, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it wasn't about the title. It was about the opportunities that we had and hopefully have in the future. Like, my channel is not a Nintendo channel anymore. Spent 7 years, took me 7 years to get 2,300 subscribers. When the pandemic hit, I shifted to Google, and now I'm almost at 10,000. So it's been an interesting ride, but my love for Nintendo has never really left since I was 3 years old. Sorry for the long story.
That's great, man. Appreciate you.
So what would you say is your favorite game of all time? I mean, of all time.
Oh man, it's so biased. You have to. I'm 35 years old, so you got to give me a decade.
Just 35.
The entire life. Oh God. If I had one game to play over and over and over and over and over again, it would be Super
It's kind of hard for people that are our age, because we grew up with the Nintendo. We grew up with the Super Nintendo. We grew up with all the advancements in like Sega. There's all kinds of games, but like it's hard for us because we've seen it all, so it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah, no, I have to go with Super Mario Odyssey. Not only is it a phenomenal game that I infinite replay value on, but the memories that are associated with that game. Looking at my signed Cappy hat Like there'll never be another game launched that I was more excited for than that game. So there you go.
If it's okay, I just want to say something just regarding to Mr. Vacca's story.
Yeah.
I think like your journey to get to where you are now with incorporating video games into teaching, like I know that's been tried and we see a lot more errors because it's not as interactive as kids want it to be. Like of course we have, like back in the day we had what, Math Blaster and all that other stuff, and it was
Dude,
cool.
I loved Mario Teaches Typing. That was my jam.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was cool, but it was just like we like you couldn't really engage with it. But to see you take your love of gaming and just your love of Nintendo and just incorporate it with the first grade kids, which with that their imaginations are just so huge, and the fact that you said, hey, write about you being in a video game just gives them that fuel, and for that to take you to being a vice principal where you're, you know, they say, hey, you're gonna have you be vice principal, but we want you to, you know, work with this and have you continue to incorporate new styles of teaching, to you to becoming a Nintendo brand ambassador just for incorporating, because a lot of people think, yeah, you have to represent Nintendo and do videos on game stuff, but no, you said, I'm going to take this and add it to my curriculum at school and get everyone involved. And it was in a way that's so like so positive and so empowering that they saw that and like, we're gonna bring you here and let you do this. And I've seen your Labo videos. I saw your Mario Maker tutorial videos. I was watching your tutorial videos trying to be a maker, and I can't do it. It's just not in my nature to be a builder. But just listening to your story to see where you are now, just with your love of, I think if anyone can take anything from that story, you know, your love of gaming, which people say is always such like a waste or whatever, took you to where you're at. I think that's just a testament, just from you being a
You are
gamer.
a kind person. Thank you, sir. You just made my day.
You know, I got so focused on having Mr. Vacca on, I forgot to introduce our regular crew. Sorry, guys. That was my bad.
I noticed that, Retro.
Yeah, I was so excited. Okay, so we got Mr. Switch.
How you guys doing?
Okay, we got Kotetsu.
How you guys doing? I'm filling in for Black Pokemon Gamer, so forgive me if he's not here today.
All right, and we have level 1UP.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
1UP, level 1UP. I don't ever want to mess up your name. I did it once, so I'm not going to mess it up again.
It's on the screen, man. I'm telling you.
I know. Come on, let me fix my glasses here. And
I just want to
we
respond
got
to
Mr. Vacca, of course,
if that's okay.
and then myself, Retro Styles, and then Mr. Vacca. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you
It's
off.
okay.
It's all
No,
good.
you're good.
So Katetsu, you are 1,000% correct, and that's why I love Nintendo more than any other company. It's not the fact that I had a big channel. It's not the fact that I was reaching out to a ton of people online, but they realized I was reaching a ton of people in our community. When I was a Nintendo brand ambassador, I only had like 1,200 subscribers. It was not about the numbers for them. My videos were not getting a lot of views, and they were treating me like royalty. Yes, they weren't sending me games. That's okay. They were sending me as much Labo as I wanted, but they would like give us direction for curriculum. They connected us with the developers to like throw ideas back and forth. So you are so right, and that's again why I'm sold on Nintendo. It's not just a company that's there to make money. They want to enrich the lives of our gaming community.
And I think that was the entire point of Labo in the first place. They wanted, have that creativity and do the kind of stuff that you did. And I thought that's really impressive. I watched that video and I really enjoyed it. That was awesome.
Thanks, 1UP. I appreciate it.
All right, so we are, let's see, who was on my thought tonight? I think I wanted to start out with not myself and not Mr. Switch, so we'll start out with level 1UP. Do you have anything for tonight? Your first buddy. No way.
He wasn't ready.
If you want me to go, it's up to you. If you're not ready, I'll go.
No, I'm just laughing that you screwed up my name again.
Oh.
Hey, you know what?
Oh,
Here's the thing. My wife says I do that all the time. I say things wrong, so I'm sorry. One up, level one up. I just try to
You're
shorten
good,
it up. I'm
just
sorry.
messing.
I put my hat up. I'm done.
No, I'm prepared. I didn't have really a topic to talk about. More or less a question for Mr. Vacca. So my wife's a teacher, and I'm sorry.
What does she teach?
Well, she's subbing right now. She's hoping to find a position, but you are 4th through 8th, right? Yeah. 4th through 8th English.
Oh, very cool.
And back when she was a secretary for a school, she actually incorporated Minecraft into the classroom, and she actually made a club out of it. And I thought that was really interesting that she kind of incorporated Minecraft and used, different activities based around that, because that kind of shows off creativity and things you can do with that as well.
Now, questions for your wife. I won't get into too depth, but did she use the education platform, the Minecraft EDU?
Yep. They were a pioneer group.
Cool.
Yep.
That's very cool. That's something I really want to bring to my district, and nobody has done it before in our district. And I'm not a Minecraft player. I don't know much about it, but it's something I really think would blow up in our district.
She says to go for it. It's actually pretty awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That was the little push I needed. One up level up game.
Hey, he got the name right on the first one.
There he is.
You're on, man, permanently.
I love you guys so much.
She actually had a question as well. As far what your question was,
basically like how can I incorporate more?
She just want to know how can you incorporate more of gaming into like a curriculum like you did.
Okay, so the hardest thing is that you have to find what the student's game interest is.
Oh yeah.
And then to find it, you can. So in English, we're English, right? English is very easy to incorporate with any game. It's story based. Change the story. Write a sequel, write a prequel to the story. What are the elements of a story? So you can do that. If you are going to use a game for history, there's nothing better than Assassin's Creed. I know it's not necessarily, the new one's not on the Switch, but if you take Odyssey and go into some of those history lessons, it's insane. It's insane. So if you just have students, okay, so for example, if you wanted to do a history lesson, utilize English, have students record, stream their lesson or their paper. That would be so much more interactive because it's what gamers do. So there's many different ways to do it. If it's math, so math is also very easy. Science is where it can get a little challenging. But with math, there has to be math in whatever game that it is. You got to turn it into a challenge of greater than, less than, addition, subtraction, whether you're doing Rocket League, you could do first grade math there, but if you're doing 8th grade, you got to talk about the force of the ball and why the different angle of the car would hit it and what the different angles would be. And so then you would have to give an example of the different angles and what would be more forceful. And is Rocket League realistic? The best example is look at game theory. What game theory does with science and math and video games should be used in normal curriculum. It would get kids. So I had first graders that would watch game theory, and we would have crazy conversations at snack time or at recess time about going in depth of Mario's real height. And here's this 7-year-old talking to me a measurement, a Mario measurement, and we would never. If I were to give him a rule, he'd be like, I don't want to do that. So it's you just got to figure out the way. And that's the thing. If I never was elementary, I don't know if I would have incorporated Nintendo, because that's not what the high school kids are as focused into. But I am very fortunate that I have the ability. I'm not just at the high school. I go K through 12. So I can do a wider range, but my focus this past year has been at the high school.
She said thanks. That's amazing. You know, she has some really good ideas right there, man. Her mind's blown right now. She literally took notes on it.
It's interesting that you mentioned it's what you're saying, telling us the explanation about adding gaming to your curriculum. I had a mythology class, and our last project was to create the hero's journey, and our professor said one of the students, he had the video, he said one of the students, they did the hero's journey based on the Legend of Zelda, and they recorded it and like chopped it up and made it, I think it was Twilight Princess, they did it on Twilight Princess, and it was just like, that's 100% accurate of the hero's journey, because it's just like, Link goes to go achieve this, but he fails and ends up becoming Wolf Link, and his goal is to save the little boy and his older sister. And so that was the hero's journey of him trying to save this sister and also turn himself back to normal. So it was amazing how they put that.
Amazing. That's amazing. And there's so many kids right now, like the biggest challenge that you'll hear at a high school or a middle school is that the student engagement is at an all-time low. And when you do something like that, when you're able to have the teacher show that that is a valid, amazing connection and example, you'll get that student motivation and enthusiasm like that. It'll be right in the palm of your hands.
I totally agree.
We did that at my work. I work for an after-school program, and to get kids that have been in school all day motivated to do anything after school, a hard task all in itself.
Right.
So I spoke to my boss. I was like, okay, look, here's the deal. I work with fourth graders. Okay, so they're fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I told him, I said, look, we need to do something, and I know something that can grab their attention. So I said, let's host a video game club, but make it an incentive for them. So we integrated a little bit of that while we were doing, because we have only 1 hour for their homework. So we integrated our incentives into homework hour. So they were competing against one another to try to get their homework done to get that incentive. So Friday was their big day. So if their homework wasn't done every day, they had to push through that last day to get to a video game. But I said, no, I want to see that it's completed the right way. So I hand checked all their work every day. Like we do that anyway, but I made sure, because I work with a certified teacher. So the video games are what really pushed them. I said, well, what did you learn from this? Then we got to play video games. They said, nope, next week we're going to try again. So we didn't play that week. And so we did our homework. I said, what did you learn this week? So they would tell me everything they learned. I said, now you guys get to have your fun Fridays, because I want to know that you learned something. I want to know that you learned your homework to get to where you're at. You actually learned something.
Very cool. That's awesome. Great idea.
Yeah.
See, and they say video games are not good for kids. You know, I mean, you can incorporate a lot from video games.
They're liars.
I mean, this proof. I mean, Mr. Vacca has proof of that. That you can actually, incorporate video games and make it educational and real. I mean, that example they used for Assassin's Creed, that was amazing. I never would have thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a lot of history in those games. That's why I love them so much. Not really about the violence of it. I just love they actually take the time, go through the history, and you actually get to live it a little bit, which is pretty cool. So
and if you want to get more wild and crazy, and you were talking about the hero's journey, you could talk about, if you're going to mythology, just talk about God of War.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Perfect example.
Not the violence of it, but you talk about the story of it. And then you're going to see those kids that are sitting in the back that are, not focused, all of a sudden at the edge of their seat being like, what?
Yeah.
God of War, what?
You're going to, naturally talk about some of the violence, but you now have their attention. You're not showing them. And you are going to have a way more engaged and meaningful conversation where the students are going to pull anything that they normally would not pull out, which is fun, very rewarding.
Absolutely.
Definitely give me a video idea. I
love it.
All right, one up. You are all good over here?
I'm good, man. Thanks you so
All
much
right.
for letting me ask that question.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much for inviting me here. This has been a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
All right. Next up on the deck, I believe, is Kotetsu.
Yes. So in spirit of being here and taking Black Pokemon Gamer's spot, I did keep in his tradition of covering Pokemon content. So I didn't want to, mess up sully his spot of covering nothing but Pokemon stuff. This is like kind of a mix of talking about what the new expansion coming out and a question to everyone here as well. So of course, if you guys missed it, I think like last week we got a new trailer, just giving us an overview of Pokemon expansion, the Isles of Armor and the Crown Tundra, showing us what we're going to be getting and what everything's going to look like. And of course we got to see the new Gmax of Venusaur and Bulbasaur, and of course I'm excited for it. I'm sure everyone's excited for it as well when it does. The first part drops next week, which is the 17th. But also had a question, and I was working on something about this on this too. Do you guys think that this new expansion will bring back old players who kind of put the game down for a little bit because it didn't have much, and will it bring in new players who decided to skip out on Sword and Shield because of the lack of content that was being brought into the game? Now, I feel personally that I think it will, because besides us getting new Pokemon and like new legendaries, we're going to be getting 134 new Pokemon, which I believe is like 67 Pokemon for each version. So I think it will bring back the attention of the older players and new players who said, "Oh, I didn't get this Pokemon," or "We didn't get this," and now that we're getting it, they're going to decide to say, "Oh, okay, well maybe I will pick up Pokemon and get the expansion, or maybe I'll just wait until they give us a bundle altogether so I can just enjoy everything that way." But I just wanted to see what you guys thought. Do you guys think it would have that effect on the player base when the expansion comes out?
For me, I used to Pokemon back in the day, but all this new stuff, it just doesn't interest me anymore. It just, not that new games don't interest me, because obviously I have a Nintendo Switch. It's just, to me, it kind of just fell off the map. So if they're bringing back a lot of like more familiar things for people that are our age, like that are almost 40, if you used to Pokemon back in the day, I still got my original Pokemon, my blue Pokemon card. So if they're going in that direction, where not so much bringing back the old pixels, of course, but bringing back a lot of the older Pokemon and the familiar stories, I think it will draw not only our audience back, they'll draw probably some new audience in, because some of that stuff they may not know what it is because it's from our generation.
Yeah, I agree with you. If they brought back some of the OG Pokemon, that would bring up a lot of people from our generation. I personally have never gotten into Pokemon. It's just not my thing. So I don't know what they could do to really bring in new people, because I don't know, unless they vastly change the game up to where it's really not Pokemon anymore. I just don't see myself ever going to it, but yeah, I mean, I think you can definitely grasp some of those people who dropped off, or kind of like what they did with Mario Maker, where if you bring in new content, people will come back who actually moved on from the game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think they could possibly add to bring in new people, though? Like,
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think if you weren't buying Pokemon Sword or Shield, you are not going to buy it just because of this expansion. You either bought it or you're going to buy it because you want Pokemon Sword or Shield. I think this expansion is going to get the casual Pokemon fans like myself that, just want to know the story. I bought it. I want to know what happens. I want to see what continues. I want to play with the new Pokemon. But I bet you we have an 80% purchase of the original, the original crew that bought Pokemon Sword or Shield. 80% of that will buy the expansion pass. And I don't put any money on new people just for that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So are you all good, Kotetsu? Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah, that was really. I just wanted to kind of get that opinion on it because I've always kind of thought, will it bring back any the existing people or people who skipped out on it, or like I said, like people who played the older ones, like say like Sun or Moon and didn't go to Shield, and they say, oh well, they're bringing back these Pokemon. Okay, well let me go back or buy it and just kind of go through and get those Pokemon or whatever.
Now, the farthest I got, I want to say, like, I tried it on the 3DS, and it still didn't feel like home because they changed so much.
Which
And
game? Which 3DS game?
I tried all of them.
Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
Dude, Sun and Moon was good.
I thought it was
It
good
had good
too.
graphics, and the storyline was good. It's just, I don't know. I'm old school. I like certain
I'm
things
old
the way they are. So
like nobody's business. And like X and Y, black and white, those went off. Sun and Moon came back to the OGs, man. That was so good.
and
I still play my blue Pokemon cart, man.
and you know what, and you know what, you actually bring up a question too, like for OGs, like when people say, I think Pokemon hasn't, because I've been playing Pokemon since day one, like since
It hasn't changed.
that's my thing. I was like, they haven't. Game Freak is not really big on changing their battle. They'll add stuff, but they won't change anything. So I always wonder, I was like, so how come the OGs say like, oh, I don't want to touch it because it's not the same? I'm like, well, I get it. I think when I first saw it on the 3DS, it blew my mind. Cause I was like, yo, I have Charmander in freaking 3D right now. Like that looks, he just looks awesome. So, but I always wonder why it never appealed to older players who played red and blue and yellow. And
dude, they do. We just hide. We're not very vocal. Look at the numbers.
Well, I think
best year ever.
I think part of the reason too is people who played it at the very beginning, because they don't change their games. I think a lot of them are just be like, I want to do something different. I want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Just getting new Pokemon isn't enough for me anymore. I think that's why some people kind of fall off the franchise. But I have a question for you guys, for someone who doesn't really understand the hype behind Pokemon. Like I love the characters, like I love them in Smash. I love the I love the Pikachu movie that just came out. But as far as the games are concerned, like what is about it that appeals to you guys that makes you come back game after game after game?
I think for me, I stopped playing it after Emerald. After Emerald, just like Mr. Vodka and how you said, they just didn't change it for me. And I was just like, all right, well, I don't have any incentive to go back and play these other versions. But then when I got my 3DS, X and Y came out, and I'm like, oh my God, like these Pokemon are in 3D. Okay. So, and for me, I'm an RPG player, and as an RPG player, what keeps me going is the battle animation. So I have to be like amazed by some of the battle animations. So I think when I saw it in 3D, like when I saw like Hyper Beam, you see the or Solar Beam, you see the sun come out and it charges you, and you see like this beautiful ray of energy, decimating another Pokemon. I think that's what kind of drew me back. And then also the Mega Evolutions, the Z moves, I was like, okay. And from then on, I was like, I just want to see what else they're gonna add and what else they're going to make more pretty, to make the game look more prettier. So for me, it was just like, all right, let me see what else they're gonna add. And then of course the Pokemon, that's always first and foremost. But for me, I'm just like, okay, I want to see what else they add. I think the Dynamax didn't really interest me. And I was one of those people like, oh, the Dynamax doesn't get to me. I don't know. I'm still gonna buy it. I don't know about everything else. I don't know about all the stuff they're gonna have. But I think for me, it's just that aspect of it, what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, and the collecting and the grinding is
my God. Yeah.
very addictive. But I also agree, like there's such little changes between the series that even the story in like Sun and Moon, I didn't feel the same for Sword and Shield, but the
Mhm.
story in Sun and Moon was awesome. And it's the same story as in Red and Blue, but they just make little tweaks, little changes, and the
Yeah.
message is phenomenal. The battling system, the trading, going to your friend's house and being like, yo, let me see your Pokemon, and you make a trade. Being able to have that physical, it's like why trading cards, baseball cards, were popular way back when, before electronics were a thing. It's you have that trading ability, and yes, I could have all 151, but do you have shiny 151s?
Mm.
Yes, but do they have the highest IVs? So there's so many layers of getting the best. It's just an endless grind of trying to be the very best. Haha, see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice.
I was gonna bust out and start singing the song.
Oh man. And
Awesome.
going back to what Mr. Vodka said about going over your cousin or your friend's house and say, hey, you have this. I have a funny story. So I before Sun and Moon came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play Omega Ruby and Omega Ruby and just get all of these Pokemon so I can bring them over to Sun and Moon. So I bought a used version, so then when the game comes out, I can take it back at a week. So I was playing, I forget that the cartridges, they have older save files on it if you
Yeah.
don't wipe it. So I
Yeah.
loaded mine in my 3DS. I'm like, oh, I was, you know what? What Pokemon does this guy have? He had every single legendary. He had duplicates. He had shinies. I'm like, oh, I don't have to do jack. I'm just gonna put all these in my Pokemon bank and just wait till Sun and Moon come out and then just throw them in there. And I went to my cousin's. I was like, dude, look what I got. And he was just like, are you serious? And he was like, yo, let me get that. And I was like, I'll give you my duplicates. I'm not giving you my only one. And he wanted this shiny Ho-Oh that I had. And he was like, I'll give you this. I was like, dude, I have that. Like, what else are you gonna give me that I don't have a duplicate of? I always just wave that in his face all the time.
That's a riot. That's a riot. Yo, okay, so there's this store that's very popular, and to keep everyone safe, I'll tell you it rhymes with um, blame hop. And when we were waiting for the Switch to release, we were playing. We waited in line for 24 hours, and we're good friends with the people that work there. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and to keep ourselves busy, we asked if we could go through the used games in their inventory, and we went and took every single Pokemon game and cleared out everybody's Pokemon and just put it into our bank so that we could have all of our Pokemon. That's how we kept busy until the Switch released. That story never happened.
At first, I was like, is he being serious right now, or is he actually sarcastic?
Oh no, it's
That was pretty
100%.
clever.
It's 100% not serious.
Guys, it's not serious.
Yep.
Oh,
my
God.
gosh.
Oh gosh.
Whatever.
Awesome.
I'm not an ambassador anymore anyway. I can say what I need to say.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Right. Mr. Switch, I believe you're up.
Yeah, yep. First of all, Mr. Vacca, is your wife making any faces at you right now?
No, she knows that she'll probably pull her out on stream, but I can guarantee you she's sitting behind that door laughing her ass off.
Also, real quick, I wanted to add in something. I downloaded this game for $2.99. It's Air Conflict Specific Carriers. That's based on, it's got a lot of history in there. Just to go back to what we were talking about earlier, and it's got a lot of Pearl Harbor kind of true facts and things like that as you play the game. Very realistic. Just for $2.99, it's a great game. Just so you guys know.
What's it called?
It's called Air Conflict Specific Carriers.
Oh yeah, I saw you playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll send you some
I'll try it out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Okay, well, into my questions. Let's see. What was I going at here? Oh, do you miss teaching first grade?
No,
Really?
I don't at all. I miss being with the elementary kids. I miss being an assistant principal, but I really don't, because you had to deal with discipline all the time. And now I deal with the enriched high school students, and they are doing things like they're teaching me stuff. And then I still get to go to the elementary and be like, this is technology. Here's how to make learning fun. Here's how to make learning easier and more, engaging. And then I, help make videos for the district. So I feel like I'm able to make a bigger impact than I was as a teacher. Yes, it was only 25 kids a year. Really got to impact those 25 kids, but now I have 2,000 kids that I'm able to reach and
Sweet.
try to,
That's awesome.
impact. And I was never able to do the things that I was able to do with Labo. If I was stuck in a first grade classroom, I never would have been able to spread it through the district that I did. I never would have been able to create the esports league that we have at our high school that's now spread through all of New York State. So it's really fun. But good question, Mr. Switch. Good question.
Thank you. Let's see the next one. Are you still working with anything with the Nintendo Club, Mr. Extended Club, or is that coming to an end, or are you going to continue later?
That has officially come to an end in terms
Okay.
of the elementary kids. Yeah. There's so many new and exciting things that we are trying to push in terms of the level we want to take what we've been doing with Labo and turn it into 3D printing, designing, game design with the VR. We're not even close to done with that yet. So we're gonna have now that we've had the younger kids utilize it in the classroom, it's now time to get the older kids to work in it in the classroom and see what they can do, how far they can push it. Maybe I can get Nintendo back into on my good side and say, hey, here's here we didn't stop. Here's what older high school kids can do with it, and y'all didn't even think about that originally. This was made for the younger crew, but it's usable and motivational and educational beyond just the elementary middle school crowd.
Okay, very good. Favorite game, non-Nintendo.
Oh,
It's a tough one.
You play-
Story wise or competitive wise?
Any, however, competitive or whatever you choose.
I have to break into two. Competitive wise, Guitar Hero. Story wise, Final Fantasy X.
I agree.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
wow.
10 was a good story.
yeah.
I say Final Fantasy 7, but anyways.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is great. 9 is good.
An embarrassing story. There's only one game that I cried at the ending, like legit cried, and it was Final Fantasy X.
Wow.
I agree. I understand it. I played that. I got close to that too. If I was with somebody, I was like, I gotta lock that up, man. I can't
All right, I gotta try it. Never played 10, but I lived
All right.
7.
Mr. Switch, we ruined it for you.
Damn it.
We did.
I'm gonna start crying at the end.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. When I'm gonna say these words, just tell me what you think of it. Comes to mind. Super Nintendo World.
I won't say the real word that came to mind because it's inappropriate. Excited.
You had permission to say whatever you want to say.
Very excited. Hyped. It's going to be the next level of entertainment parks. It's going to truly integrate technology, personal technology, with a theme park. And they're going to do it like no other theme park has done before. Think of what Nintendo is about. They're not about making money. They're about the user experience. They want to enrich people's lives, whether it's through Ring Fit Workout, Mario Teaches Typing, Mario Paint, or the Wii Fit Board, or Labo, or just the random stuff that they do. They're going to make this so fun and outside of the box that it's gonna be out of this world.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just waiting, counting the maybe what do we got, like 2 or 3 more years or so, whenever it decides to come up with this pandemic holding things back.
The coins have started to spin at the Tokyo one.
Oh, when are they going to be finished? Do you know?
So people have been taking aerial views of what's going on there, and it's been set up. They're setting it up. They got everything there. You know, they have the coins out of the pipes, right? And now when you look at it, the coins are actually spinning
Oh,
in
that's
the
awesome.
air pipes. So it's getting
Nice.
closer. It's getting closer.
I saw that on
I'm
Twitter.
waiting for Florida's to pop up in a few years, and I think by that time, um Luigi, my son Luigi, even Camila will be ready at that time, right? Well, maybe if
Mhm.
you know, and I won't be able to go to Japan for sure, but like waiting for the one here in Florida is just I can't wait. I'm gonna be like a child again, but I gotta take care of my child, and everyone's gonna be kids walking in there. It's just nostalgia's gonna hit back, so it's just kind
Yeah.
of
To
gonna be
tell
exciting.
7-year-old Bill Vacca that this was going to happen in his 40s, I would probably have a little boy heart attack.
Yeah. Same.
I thought they
There's
mentioned the.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Kotetsu.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying. I thought they mentioned it was supposed to be the Japanese one was supposed to be done this summer.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I heard, and I heard they were gonna invite a handful of people to fly out there or to go press and to go check it out and go see what it's about.
That is awesome, man.
Now is the one
And they're
in
supposed to be opening up one in LA too, the Universal Studios over here. They
Really?
were supposed to complete that in 2.5 to 3 years, but with the pandemic, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
okay? You kind of answered my question. So the one in Orlando is gonna be first. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read that one, and then they're supposed to be working. They were supposed to be working simultaneously on the one like in Los Angeles, but there's no way they could have done that. So they did the Orlando first since it's really big, and then
Yeah.
they'll work on this one.
All right. Well, I'm calling it right now. We're all gonna go together. All
Yes,
Oh
we
yeah,
are.
definitely.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
definitely.
So
Start saving your money.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah,
Save
definitely.
your money.
Yeah.
On my way. I'll see you all
I'm
there.
broke, but I'll find a way to get
He's
there.
already on his way. Hey,
Sorry,
we'll see you there, man. He's gone. He took
man.
off. Hey, I wanted to first put out for those who are watching, don't forget to follow and subscribe to Mr. Waka. His links are in the description. Don't forget to follow all of us, but check out Mr. Waka. Follow him. He's got a lot to present. He's a Google level 2 certified educator.
Hey, guess what? I just have a new news for you. While one door closed, I am no longer a Nintendo brand ambassador. I'm now a certified Google trainer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
that's
that.
really awesome. Really
Insane.
awesome.
I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with Google now. So it's exciting.
That's
Yeah, I
really
saw
awesome.
that the
Hey,
video.
dude.
Look
Thank
at
you.
you.
And that just goes back to what I said. Like, you know, you started off, your love for gaming has just taken you to a place where a lot of us are just like, yo, that's what we're aiming for, you know.
Thank
and I think that's just really cool.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun ride. We just begun, baby. We just begun.
Yeah.
This is the start. This is the beginning. I just wanted to say thank you just early on. And Mr. Rock, appreciate everything in terms of, I love watching your YouTube, your Twitter, and on Facebook, learning more about your family life, just seeing pictures of, you and your family. And Camila, she's growing up. She's so big, and it's exciting. And appreciate you
Thanks.
so much.
Well, Mr. Switch, I want to let everyone here know that there has never been a more original gangster subscriber fan of my channel. He's been there since day one. He's been nonstop supportive. So, right back at you, man. The love
Thank
and
you.
passion is you're very, very.
Thanks so much, dude.
If it's cool, I just wanted to piggyback on something that Mr. Vaca said about Nintendo and how just their innovation just kind of takes over, trumps everything else that that's been going on in the gaming world. Like, I was having a conversation with someone, and they asked me, they said, "Yo, what do you think Nintendo's going to do now that we have the reveal of these two new consoles?" And I'm like, Nintendo really has nothing to worry about, because
Nothing.
they've everything they've done, everyone else is trying to. And I said this, I was like, I always thought Nintendo was always started the next generation of consoles. Like when
Yep.
the PS2 and the Xbox was the first, they had the Wii U start the Wii start the next generation, and then it was the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and then the Wii U was like everything looked amazing. They had a new way of playing, and then there was the PS4, and then the Xbox One, and then the Switch kicked off the next generation, and everyone's just trying to catch up. And every console they had, they just changed the way you just play. And so now everyone is like, well, how can we do this? How can we do that? You know, how can we do what Nintendo's doing? Nintendo was one of the first to have a long lasting handheld console that just evolved over time. And I think, and it's just like, and then they have their own park now. They're teaming up with Universal, and they have their own park where, just like Mr. Vacca said, it's an experience, not just being entertained, but you have like personal technology, you know, you can use. Like they said in their trailers, like if you link up with have an app and you link up, you get coin, you can have the coin box or whatever on your phone. And it's something that they just continue to innovate and continue to just have us, you know, more immersed in their worlds and their technology. And I think that they're a company that doesn't have to worry about how high tech and how everything looks so much, because of what they're doing. It kind of all that fades, you know, all that fades out.
Exactly. Just look at their marketing. They don't care about having big names up there. They don't care about taking huge risks that could be a huge flop. Like, they want to try something new, push it to a new level. And I love that now the Xbox and PlayStation have officially released. Nintendo's got nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
And what's cool about that is that, you know, next to the NES, the original NES, the Wii was like one of their top selling consoles, only because nobody ever did that before. Like, it was motion control had never been done, and they're always trying to be innovative, but they don't really care about a popularity contest. They care about like the people's experience. And I always thought that was interesting that they've done that. And even with the new like PS5, you can't take the PS5 in handheld mode and take it to a friend's house. The Switch, you have all your games, digital or physical, whatever you want. We're not going to discuss that. We had that argument last week, which was kind of fun actually. But where you could take it anywhere else. So Nintendo has a win always in my book.
And that's why I always play and love this company more than the other companies. Like, the Xbox and PlayStation's come out this year, but I'm actually more excited to see what Nintendo comes out with next. You know, like game wise, like I don't even care about the consoles. Like, you know, I watched the PS5 thing yesterday. I wasn't too impressed with it, to be honest. And honestly, with the Xbox, I'm not impressed either. It doesn't really seem like they're innovating. They're just kind of trying to push the graphics all the time.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's always trying to innovate, like, you know, new ways to play, and that's what excites me. It's not the technology. I can care less if we get photorealistic games or not. You know what I mean?
Don't forget, we got the movie coming out by Illuminations, I think.
Oh, that's gonna
be
that's gonna be
Mario movie.
And they're pushing their brands off to other things now, the movies, parks. I mean, they're definitely expanding the brand in other ways that Sony and Microsoft are not even thinking about. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what they do next.
Did anyone ever miss out on this?
Oh, I never saw that.
Did.
Mr. Vacca?
I have 4 boxes.
You still got 4 boxes?
I did.
Hey, they're expired.
Hey, why don't you do a taste test right now?
Taste test?
Give us a live taste test, dude. Hey, don't worry. I got 911, man, on speed.
Hold on. We got this. Give me a second.
He's gonna do it.
I got 911.
Oh, he's opening it.
If you want to go ahead and somehow give me where you're at, I'll try my best to tell you.
Eat it like chips.
Oh,
the marshmallows are kind of I don't know.
He likes it.
he's still eating it.
No, that is
those marshmallows. They look pretty cool, man.
That's hardcore, man.
They taste like gum now. It's like they're like gum flavors or something.
Oh my god.
Hey,
oh god.
Make sure you take some antacids, dude, because
That's
One more,
awesome.
one more. I gotta try one more.
Oh man.
Respect.
Hey,
man.
it's like once you pop, you can't stop. He's gonna eat the whole box.
Oh my god, these are still good. I would put this away.
Yeah, I missed out on that one just because because they sold that, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, all right.
I didn't find it. Like, I never once saw it in stores.
Because the first time I saw was actually Mr. Switch. He had a box, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, where are they at? And they just couldn't find them. And I was like, all right, well, I wasn't mad that I missed out on it, but it would have been nice to at least have one box and just, I was a part of that hype train.
Yeah.
It was actually interesting that my wife found 2 boxes because I hadn't been able to get a hold of any, and she was at Target while I was at work, and she's like, babe, I got some for you. I was like, oh, okay. And she pulled out the boxes. I was like, babe, how much did you pay for those? Have you seen how much they're going for online? She's all, oh, they were on sale for $2.25 a piece. I was like, say what? And she grabbed me 2, and then I went back and grabbed a couple more, but me and the kids ate it. So I kept kept the empty box. Then we went back to the grocery store out of town, and we got there's 2 boxes. There's a blue box and a red box. So I went and got 2 of the blue boxes as well.
Let me eat these properly.
Oh.
I mean, your wife found a Nintendo product that was actually on sale. That's mind blowing right there. Holy crap!
Yeah, $2.25 a box. That's what I said. I was like, say what? That's why I told her, babe, these are going for $100 online right now.
I just opened this.
Speaking of Nintendo, have you guys seen the big eShop sale that's going on? Oh my gosh,
dude, you beat me to the punch. I was actually going to bring that up. Don't forget about the huge summer sale that's going on, because a lot of their main franchises are on sale for down to what, $41.99 or something like that.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, Mario World, and even the Ubisoft. They have it all categorized on the Nintendo website. So if you want to, it's just surfing through the eShop, go through the website, and it has it breaking down from Warner Brothers, Nintendo. It's all broken down into categories, and it's pretty super cool. I have it saved on my desktop, so after I'm done here, I'm probably gonna go shopping for a bit. This is the one time a year that my wife just allows me to just buy games because they're all on sale, and we're big sale junkies. So if there's a sale, he's like, babe, go get it.
Dude, I literally check the eShop for sales pretty much every single day. I'm addict at this point.
There's one game I'm upset that's not on there, is Breath of the Wild. I was really hoping Breath of the Wild was
It's not gonna be on there, dude. It's gonna stay at 60 forever.
I was like, gosh.
Well, I had hope when I saw Mario Odyssey go on sale, but I guess Zelda's a whole nother level.
That's the one. Because when I finished that, I was like, I got rid of it, and I'm just like, did I want it back? And I'm just like, it's nowhere on sale.
Wait, you got rid of it?
Because I got rid of it because I wasn't playing, I wasn't touching it. I was not touching it, and then I was just like, one day, my cousin
wait. You telling me that you weren't playing a Zelda game, dude? Oh man!
I'm one of those people where if I finish everything, and I'm just like, if I don't feel, the one thing I refuse to do is to get those Korok seeds. I was like, I refuse to do that because I don't have the time to do that.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
Then that was just
too much of a grind, and the reward for it is stupid. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, what am I getting? I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And I was just like, yo, I'm done. Then my cousin bought it, and I was watching him play, and I was like, here, let me show you how to play. And I took over, and I was like, I have to buy this game again because I just took over here, and I just helped you get the glider. I helped you get your first shield. I helped you get all that stuff, and that's 2 hours into the game. I need to buy this game for myself.
Yeah, and you definitely need to play it again before the second one comes out.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I wanna play through the first one again. But now, and it's crazy because I was talking to someone yesterday, and hey, did you see the Wii U version, on the emulator Wii U version, how they have the textures on it? And I'm like, no, and they look amazing. I'm just like, dude. Now I'm conflicted. Should I just get the textures and put it on my computer, or should I just be legit and get it for
Don't let Nintendo hear you, man. They'll shut.
I know. They'll shut us down, man.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding.
Love you, Nintendo.
We love you, but give us better textures on your games, please. Do that.
And give us some more Super Nintendo games. We need Batman Returns, please. Ninja Turtles.
That game was so cool on Super Nintendo.
That was tight. Which brings me to another thing with all these consoles coming out and Nintendo cross-playing. I wonder if there's going to be crossplay with like the new Xbox and the PS5 with the Nintendo Switch. What do you guys think? Yeah,
That'd be interesting because crossplay is becoming the thing now. Is the thing that a lot of developers are kind of pushing because they want to have that union of all players from any platform come together and just play. And I have examples. You know, Rocket. What was the first? Someone told me what the first one was. Well, I can say the first one was Street Fighter 4, where they had it for it was exclusive for PS4 and PC, but they were able to play together because they were all on the same server. And then Rocket League was for Switch, PC, and Xbox. And then finally Sony was like, Sony, they don't like crossplay. But then Sony finally gave in. They're like, all right, we'll do Rocket League crossplay on that. And then of course Fortnite. So I think crossplay
Minecraft.
is in Minecraft. And I think Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, which I like that. It's a fighting game. I love Power Rangers, and that was just amazing. That's the first fighting game to be crossplay for all platforms. So I think crossplay is slowly but surely making their move to be, you know, the big thing on online gaming because first of all, and I have viewers who are like, yo, do you have Dragon Ball FighterZ on the Switch? I'm like, no, but I have it on my PS4. I don't want to buy it again and get all the DLC again. I'm like, I wish they just did crossplay for that because I can just play with everyone who doesn't have it and who doesn't have it for the PS4. They have it for the Switch, and I can just be able to play with all them. And then there's a whole bunch of other games I wish I can play with other people with, but they're on different platforms. But I do
you know what would be interesting.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I interrupted you. I didn't realize it. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, wow, I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. That was interesting. Though. I was on the Epic playing Epic Games and on their platform right now because of the pandemic, they've been giving away like a free game every month. And I happened to notice, like I saw the new Tony Hawk, the remastered one that they made for the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to see it in the Epic Game Store, and I told my wife because we were super excited for it, but I did not want to buy a PlayStation just to play that game. That would have been the only reason legit why we bought a PlayStation. Because I have a PS2 and a PS1, you know, old school. But so I saw it on there and it was only like $50, which it sounds like a lot of money, but when you break it down, that's $25 per game, which is pretty cheap. And so I wondered if they're gonna take you playing Tony Hawk from the PC to the PS4 and the PS5. That would be cool. That would be cool.
It's just all about if they can just, I don't know how hard it is to just build a dedicated server where everyone can just jump on in and just play. But yeah, I honestly think crossplay will definitely be the next thing that's going to be happening in the generation of consoles.
My brother and I, you know, we've been gamers for a long time, and we used to just use the old Ethernet cable, old school back in the day, to LAN our computers together. And my brother and I said back then, and this was like, gosh, I think I was 22. Now I'm 37. So that was a long time ago. We said that would be cool if they had one building that could host all game consoles, like legit, like PlayStation, Nintendo, any kind of console. They had one building that everybody can just hub into, and then everybody can connect. That would be cool. Somebody built that. Cool. That's like innovative. Somebody can make some money off that. I don't have the tools to do it, but I have a good idea.
The idea man there.
Good idea man.
I had a question for Mr. Vacca when Mr. Switch brought up the do you miss teaching first grade? It kind of sparked this other question. Like what was on your channel, what was like your favorite video that you did? Like after you did it, you were just like, man, I had so much fun doing it, and just what I've learned from working on it. Like what was like your favorite project you did on your channel?
Great question.
Product provided.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my videos. Let me see. I think that's a great question. Probably the one I've watched the most was the Super Mario Odyssey launch one.
That was great. That was great.
I feel like that was just such a dream come true at that moment, and trying to recap that, I feel like I did my ultimate job of being able to recap that. Even now, if I tried to do it, I don't think I would have been able to do a better job. So whenever I'm having a bad day or I'm really feeling down, that actually, yeah, that's the video I tell people, that I watch that video and I'm instantly back into a happy spot, and I'm thankful for everything that I have, because that experience was out of this world. I don't think very many people have that kind of opportunity.
I was just about to say, like, not too many people ever have like a great day they can reflect on when they're down, and that's pretty awesome that you have a moment like that in your life.
Well, you know, also, sorry, Sarah, marrying you.
Wait.
Oh my God. You're in trouble. You are in trouble.
Your wife's name is Sarah?
Yeah.
My wife's name is Sarah as well. So that's awesome.
Mr. Vacca, be careful. You're gonna sleep in the doghouse tonight, bud.
I sleep on the couch every night anyway.
Oh,
I love you.
That's awesome.
hey, happy wife, happy life.
I asked that just because, once again, man, I think just hearing your story is just very inspirational, and just all the things you've done, just to kind of like see what was within that, you know, what was like the project that you were just most proud of during that journey of getting to where you are. I know I said that so many times, but just when you were telling it, I just felt everything you were doing, and I think that's just really cool, because I know that's where I want to be.
I want to meet you. This picture of you is not doing it justice.
I know.
I thought
right?
it would,
You know?
man. I thought it would. It looks
You
just
look
like
like
me, but I'm just like a 6-bit character right now. Even though you don't see it on YouTube, you see my name, and I was just like, dang it, no one can see my awesome 16-bit version of myself. But you know, just it really is inspiring, because I know I've been doing YouTube for a little bit, and my goal is to do more, and just to see someone do kind of my own passion, and is just not even taking it the traditional route, going into a route that not anyone would really be able to do, would be education, and adding that, and just to see where I'm truly blown away. And I really think that's just an awesome way to just, you know, really is cool. Honestly, really is.
Wife, like, stop saying this stuff. He's gonna leave here with such a big head. He's never gonna get at. No, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Hope we didn't wake up the baby.
Nah, she's way asleep. She's good.
Oh, she's deep asleep.
And I also agree with Katatsu, because my wife's also inspiring to be a principal someday, and hearing your story really is motivating her too, because I didn't even know you were a principal. That actually was news to me. And the fact that you successfully incorporated games into your curriculum is amazing, and she definitely wants to do that too, because we have that passion, but she didn't know how to incorporate it within her, you know, in a classroom. So thank you so much for your input tonight, man.
If there's any like questions that she has, you have my information. I'm happy to chat, answer anything, go back and forth with ideas, give her some of the curriculum that we have. I'm happy to send it all your way if you want to see how Labo works.
That'd be awesome, man. Thanks.
Definitely.
Definitely been a fun night, but we have reached our hour. But it's almost like you don't want to go, because when you have a special guest, you just don't want to let them go after that hour. But it's been a fun night.
Like I want to just pick his brain more. That's why I keep saying that. It's like keep buttering him up, because I want to pick his brain.
Invite me back. Love me come back another week. I'd love to.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to have you.
Yeah.
You guys.
Does anybody else have anything before we take off for the night?
I'm good. 100%.
I'll just say
one question. What's the one game you're playing right now? Go.
Oh,
Resident Evil 4.
Final Fantasy Online right now.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What's the one game you're playing right now? Doesn't have to be Nintendo. What's the one game?
The one game I'm playing right now is BioShock. I recently bought it on the Switch, and going back to that, it's one of my favorite game series of all time, just because the story is fantastic. So I'm really enjoying that one right now.
Very cool. I don't know
Mine
if you guys.
does happen to be Nintendo. Mine's Paper Mario and the Thousand Room Door.
Very
GameCube.
cool.
Yeah, I
Very
love my GameCube. I still have it. Rocking it.
I'm addicted to something right now that's not Nintendo. It's called Team Fight Tactics. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, I heard about that.
No.
Yeah, I heard about that.
League
Go ahead.
has taken over my spring. Like I became a league head hard this spring, and now Team Fight Tactics has just taken over all my time.
Oh, before we go, you mentioned your esports league that you have at your school or your high school. Now, what do you like? What do you guys? What's the game that you guys are like
League of Legends.
incorporating for that? Okay, that's what I figured. Okay.
Yeah. So this past year was League of Legends. Next year, it's getting a lot bigger. We got a lot of machines coming, so we're gonna have a varsity league, junior varsity league, Rocket League, Smite, Smash.
Dude, that's awesome.
I know I'm
That's
forgetting.
right.
I know I'm forgetting a couple, but yeah, it's gonna be huge. Our district, I put in a lot of work, and I've never been more lucky and thankful to have a truly supportive superintendent, a truly supportive business super. Like they are willing to support what we're doing tenfold and have put in a lot of money to let this kind of flourish. So it's going to be really exciting next year.
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's cool. And I gotta take you up on that Guitar Hero challenge.
Yeah.
I gotta do it.
Please.
How
You
about
put it out
Mr.
there, man.
Mr.
Put it
Vacca,
out
have
there.
you ever played Super Nintendo Mario Kart?
Yeah, it's horrible.
The controls are horrible. I was gonna say, challenge me. Forget it.
Oh man.
Hey, you're a true Mario Karter though when you can beat those levels.
Yeah.
They're so
awesome.
hard though. They're so hard.
Hard.
Yeah, I was playing with someone with that on the Super Nintendo app, and I was just like, "Yo, I don't have 2 items. All the boxes are on the floor. The red shells don't track." It's just like, what are we doing? It's so much harder.
Okay, so what's harder, the Super Nintendo version or the Mario Kart Mobile? Which one's harder? What do you think?
Super Nintendo by far.
I would say Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
Nintendo.
just made the Mario Kart Mobile. They made it to where you can play multiplayer online with your friends. They barely made that. So
Yeah, I stay away from that because to me, I think that game is super pay to win heavy. It's just ridiculous how pay to win heavy it is, especially if you're going for rank. You have to, especially if you're going for, I was like, I don't have the time to try to get all of these cards so I can rank, so I can get a free 45 rubies or frubies, how they're called. And I was just like, I can't get with that. I can't get with it because that sucks. It's so frustrating.
I just play for fun. I don't play for rank. It's just a quick, those mobile games you pick up, you quick play for a few minutes when somewhere, and that's it. Just something to sit there and kind of veg out on for a little bit. I don't like to just get all caught up in the ranks because I like to have fun. So if I'm just sitting there like trying to grind and get frustrated, then it's not fun anymore.
I can't. I'm super competitive, dude. I can't. But anyway, I don't want to extend this thing, man. I can talk
Mr. Vacca,
all day, man.
Mr. Vacca, I wanted to say thank you so much for being an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you.
So much for
Thank you so much.
for everything you do and what you're going to keep doing, and we're going to follow you. We're going to track you down. We're going to definitely keep in touch with you. We're going to have you here more often. Anytime, you are welcome. Anytime to jump in to any of our podcasts. Anytime, man. When you feel like it, make sure that your wife says hi instead of giving you faces. But like this again,
we can all get together in real life.
for
That'd
sure,
be awesome.
definitely.
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah.
things get better with us and this pandemic, and everyone stay safe as possible
Thank
because
you
it's
for
pretty
having
nasty
me.
out there.
Has a great weekend and hope to see you all again soon.
Definitely.
Oh, for
Too,
sure.
man.
Thank you for coming on tonight, man.
Anytime. Have a great night, everyone.
You too.
Have a good night. Take care, guys. Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Night, guys. Be sure to
Take
follow
care.
this channel, man. That's where you get all the awesome podcast news and everything. Don't forget to do that.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow Mr. Vacca in the description. Follow him on Twitter
Yeah.
and YouTube. All right, we are out.